first went to Moab to mountain bike in 2015, and I stayed in a modest motel right in town. I continued to stay in motels for the next 3 or 4 visits. But along the way, and while riding their incredible MTB Trails, I began to notice that they also have amazing campgrounds very near to the trailhead, offering riders scenic vistas along the Colorado River or from the mesa tops of the valley below. So I began to explore camping as a way to experience these beautiful settings and to also save a considerable amount of money. And so now, as of December 2024, I've camped at more than a dozen of Moab's best campsites, and this video is intended to share my thoughts, experiences, and recommended strategies with camping in Moab. These recommendations are primarily focused on those mountain bikers who also seek similar experiences. The best plan for camping in Moab will depend upon the type of camping you plan to do. If you have a big motorhome or a trailer, or either need water or electric service, then you probably don't want to camp in the Bureau of Land Management and state campgrounds.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Because they don't offer either water or electricity. Instead, you probably want to target the campgrounds in town. Also, if you have a lot of camping infrastructure that you deploy, such as awnings, outdoor barbecues, tables, or chairs, and spend a fair amount of time setting up and breaking camp, then this video isn't for you either.
I remember it being a pretty epic ride, but this is even better than what I remember.
This video is intended for those campers who want to experience wilderness camping and can set up and break camp very simply, because my plan is to hop around to and from the very best campsites according to my ride plan, and to mostly stay for only a day or two at each campground. So now, let's start planning. When you begin planning for a camping vacation, you'll encounter 2 issues. Firstly, Moab's become very busy on weekends during the spring and autumn times of the year, and so campsites may be extremely scarce for those weekends. During these busy times, the weekend rush will usually start on Thursday night and run through and including Sunday night. So for weekends, I'd highly advise booking a reservable site and rely less upon the first-come, first-served sites. Or alternatively, plan to arrive during the middle of the week and secure a suitable site for a duration that will also cover the upcoming weekend. My plan is to try, if at all possible, to arrive in Moab midweek. And if I can't arrive midweek, I will plan to book my weekend campground months ahead of time, or as soon as the reservation window opens for the time frame that I plan to visit. For an arrival during the weekdays, I'll be more comfortable just winging it, since there's usually lots of sites in every campground. But if I do this, I also want to secure these first-come sites by arriving early in the day, and then doing my ride from the very same campsite. These first-come, first-served sites with the Bureau of Land Management will become secured for the duration of the stay once you pay their fee and set up and maintain a camp on the site. And secondly, there are 4 different government agencies that manage campgrounds in Moab.
Whoa. Yeah, sweet.
So you'll need to look up each one for their respective websites to gather more information, determine their fees, which may vary according to each campground, and or make reservations. The 4 agencies are the Bureau of Land Management, or BLM, the Utah State Parks, the National Park Service, and Grand County. So let me begin with the plan. I would first establish my MTB ride plan, and then based on this, target the campsite that's nearest to the trailhead. And to help you with your ride plan, I will provide direct links to 2 videos of the top 10 trails in Moab, a top 10 trail list for all skill levels, and another top 10 intermediate trail list. You will see these links in the description area of this video.
Yeah, this trail has a little bit of a feeling like a roller coaster. This is a very fun trail.
Once you've decided which trails you plan to ride, then it's helpful to determine which campgrounds are closest nearby to the trailhead. And so, to help you with that, I also have a Google map that will assist you. Here, let me show you. First, go to my website at ronsworld.ca and find the map page under the Top 100 Trail List tab, and then select the map page. Now let's expand the window and zoom into the Moab riding region. From here, you can also see the layer panel to the left where you can see all of my trail videos. And you can also scroll down to click on the layer panel, which will show you my recommended campgrounds. Now you can see from this map which of the campgrounds might be closest to your mountain bike trails. For example, if I was planning to ride the trails in the Navajo Rocks region, or the Rodeo, Chisholm, or Mustang Loop trails, or down the Magnificent 7 sequence of trails, I would try and camp at the Horse Thief Campground or the Cowboy Campground, both at the top of the Dead Horse Point Mesa. And if you click on the campground link, it will also take you to the government webpage, which provides all the details you should need. Similarly, if I was going to ride the Slickrock Trail or any of the trails on the Raptor route, I would look at the campgrounds in the Sand Flats Recreation Area. My plan is to try and camp at or near the trailhead of the trails that I plan to ride on each day. And with that in mind, I'll provide you with this table that shows all the campgrounds I've used and would likely use again. This table alphabetically lists the campground and shows the related government agency, the number of campsites, and whether it's reservable or not, and whether campground fees are charged. The Bureau of Land Management manages the following campgrounds: Courthouse Rock, Cowboy and Horse Thief campgrounds on Dead Horse Mesa, the North Klondike campground, and all the campsites along the Colorado River east of Moab along Highway 128 and west of Moab along Potash Road and Cane Springs Road. The state of Utah manages the Dead Horse Point State Park and Utah Raptor State Park. The Dead Horse Point campground is reservable, but the Willow Spring campground in Utah Raptor Park is not reservable. The National Park Service manages the campgrounds within the Canyonlands National Park, including Island in the Sky, which is first come, first serve, and the Needles, which has both first come, first serve and reservable sites through the recreation.gov website. The National Park Service also manages the only campground in Arches National Park, the Devil's Garden campground. Devil's Garden is also reservable through recreation.gov. Grand County manages the 9 loops within the Sand Flats Recreation Area, and they also have their own website for information. There are also a number of dispersed BLM campgrounds where you can pretty much camp anywhere. These are usually free, but you never know who will show up next to you, because where they may park is simply random. So I occasionally use these sites, but I'm very selective in choosing a suitable site. One of the big factors when I'm camping at dispersed sites is that the roads are very poor and they can get extremely muddy if it rains, so you might need a 4x4 with a high clearance vehicle. So if I'm expecting incoming rain, I never camp at the dispersed sites and only look for the ones that are very near to paved highways or properly graveled roads. So by now, you should have a pretty good idea of how to plan a successful mountain bike camping trip to Moab and have enough resources to make good decisions. And hopefully this video has inspired you to begin planning a bucket list vacation to Moab. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.